Hi there, I'm Stuart Smith. Welcome to my Short Game Academy. Today we're going to be looking at the splash bunker shot. So it's a shot in the bunker where we get the ball out nice and high, it lands softly or with a bit of spin, stopping it without too much roll or energy in the shot. So when we're in a bunker like this, it's got a nice high lip, it's a nice shot to play. So let's have a go first of all, and then we can see how I play the shot. The club I've got is a 56-degree loft, so not too much loft on the shot. There we go, we've gone out and there's plenty of spin on that ball. So, how did I play the shot? How am I able to get the ball up in the air with such a long swing and yet the ball not go too far? That's what we're going to explain to you today. So I'm going to bring the core board into play here. Let me just fix that bit there. Now, if you get the positioning right, the shot becomes quite easy, but getting the actual positioning right is tricky. So, I'm going to draw some lines. Let's do the ball to target line in the sand. That is the direct line from the ball to the flag. Now, the golf club, so this leading edge must always be square to that line. And in order to get the height, I want some elevation on the shot, so I'm going to have to make the club more lofted. I'm not going to twist it open, okay? I'm not twisting it this way. What I'm going to do, I'm going to lean the club back. And as I do, if we can look at the club face now, you can see it's much more lofted. It's laying back, okay? Now, the important part here is that I now stand square to the shaft. So I'm not square to the ball to target line. I'm now square to this shaft. So my feet, my knees, my hips are open to the ball to target line. So if you can see here, we've got a couple of lines in the sand. One's at the ball to target line and one's certainly more open. So I've got into that position again by laying the club back and making sure it points at my belly button, and I am square to the shaft, not the leading edge. That's the bit where golfers go wrong. Now the ball at this point in relation to my feet is quite centre, okay? But if I put the board centre of my feet and I have it in relation to the ball to target line, you can see that actually it's quite a long way, sorry, that's the court, it's quite a long way forwards. So, the ball, if we look at the ball to target line, is forward in my stance. If you look at where I'm actually stood, and I'll draw another line here, parallel to my feet, it's quite centre in my stance. So you have to understand that bit. The club's laying back, so it's pointing at me. Doing it this way, it prevents the chance of shanking it. If I was to stand here and twist it open, as you can see, the hosel will come in, and that's why golfers shank in a bunker. They get that bit wrong. So I want the whole of the club to be going through the shot, lay the shaft back, get myself square to the shaft, dig my feet into the sand. At this point, I now take my grip. So as you can see, the club face is open, or laying back as I like to call it, because of what we've done. Now, so got the ball forwards in relation. My weight at this point might be +1, okay? It's not going to be any further forward than that, so I'm not all the way up here. Too many golfers have too much weight forwards. We're not looking to do that. I'm going to be in this position. As I swing through, I'm not going to move my weight forwards, okay? This is not about energy shot. This is about trying to whip under with the ball just popping up into the air. So the further forward I have my core at impact, the more power, the more energy in the shot. We're not after energy. So it's going to start at about +1 and it will be there the whole time. It might even pull back a tiny bit, but let's keep it at +1. So again, in relation to the centre of my stance, we're okay, but in relation to the ball to target line, everything is behind the ball. You can see that the core and everything is actually behind the ball because of the different angles. Now with the shot, what am I looking to do? Again, I'm always aware of what part of the ball we're trying to hit or we're not trying to hit. The golf club, I'm trying to whip into the sand, under the ball and out the other side without the ball knowing I've been there. So it's almost like where they get the tablecloth and they whip it under the plates and the plates don't move. That's what I'm thinking of. That is what will generate the spin. So as we whip quickly this way, the ball will spin backwards, popping it up in the air so it lands softly. So therefore, when we come through, it's quite like the soft landing chip or the lob shot that we hit. As I come through, the golf club is going to overtake my hands. My hands lead, and at the last moment, they're always going to come through, so I open up the face even more. So the thought is here, when I go through, I can hold the face off, or I can flick it all the way through so it points back towards me. Most golfers, when they come in, they release as per normal and they roll the face over. So I'm going through, let's look at the club face, and I actually hit it with a more open face. If we come in here open and then roll it, you can see how the face has got higher. So you're hitting it with that much and I'm hitting it with this. I've got a much thinner club that I'm going to hit the ball with. So by going through at that angle, it will produce more spin than a club face at this angle. And that's all to do with the release. So the release is as I come through, I'm opening the face. I am not going to close it, okay? So we got into this position here. I hold myself steady. Yes, I do pick it up steep. I'm going to come into the sand, and it's the whip. It's the whip through the ball that we're trying to get. So let's have a go here. Up, whip it through, ball pops out, and again, it's landed nice and softly up towards the hole. Now, where golfers will go wrong on this shot is that they'll enter the sand too far back. So if I can grab this wedge that we use sometimes, we'll pop the wedge here. Let's put the ball down again. So if I let the club square its ball to target line, clean it, lay it back, that's where I want my body to be. So again, I'll move the board. I know that I've got all the positions right from here. And then we've got this wedge here this time. If I hit the wedge, it means I've entered the sand too early and the ball really won't have any energy in the shot. So you have to be very accurate where you're going to enter the sand. Okay, and this time, unlike the shot where I talked about where we're trying to hit the sand out of the ball, I'm literally trying to whip it through without having too much friction on there at all. So I'm literally just trying to slide it under the ball without the ball knowing we've been there. So let's have a go with the wedge. Let's have a look at what happens when I hit the wedge on the downswing. So we go from here. As you can see, look, the ball hasn't made it out of the bunker because it took all the power out of the shot. Let's pull it back. Here we go. Let's put the wedge in the right place. Get the board between my feet. Let's lay the club back so I'm square. Okay, so this time I'm going to hit between the ball and the wedge, whip it out, and that's when the ball comes out of the bunker. So as you can see, it's quite a big swing. There's no power because my 56, I'm able to change the loft to, well, at least 80 degrees as I go through impact. But it's the quick whip going through what generates the spin. So, the point to remember is where you enter the sand, can't be too far back. The ball, in relation to the centre of your feet, is centre, but in relation to the ball's target line, it's forwards. We lean the club back, we don't twist it open. All these ingredients are so important into playing this shot. Okay, so what we're going to do, we'll get a shot from behind so we can see the flight of the ball. So let me just pop another one down. We'll move these out of the way. Okay, so we'll go for this flag over here. Okay, so hopefully we'll be able to see the flight of this shot again. Let's do the same thing. So I've laid the club back. You can see I'm here. So I'm not massively open for these shots. Don't have to be too open. Let's whip it through. We're going for far flag, and there we go. You saw the ball stop nice and quickly. So I was able to do a nice swing, get it out towards the flag and stop it. That's how you play a splash bunker shot.